Okay, so so good morning all. Today we'll do this review of AC circuits, as I said. So you might have studied this AC circuits in maybe in your earlier courses. So then we'll try to just revise that. Okay. So as I said, I just gave you this sheet which has some about 7 problems. So we'll just quickly learn or revise this AC circuits in the form of solving these 7 problems. Okay. So I'll also keep the problems soft copy online, so you can download it. I'll give you the link. Okay. I still have 2 more, so someone can take this. Anybody wants? What? Okay, okay, good. So I have 6. I mean, I have 3, so we'll allow 6 more people to come now. Anyway, so let's get started with the first problem. So I hope this is not sudden shock for you, because this is something that you already learned before. So it should be like a nice review. So if everything appears vague and new and all these things, so please try to recollect. Okay. So I'll start with the first question. Okay. I hope it's not difficult. I'll just write down the question also. So the first question is, so V is 100 sine omega t plus 30 degrees. This is in volts. And then I is 20 cos omega t plus 10 degrees, and this is in amps. Okay. So the question is all these things, find, okay, V max. I'll just maybe I'll write these 2 now. Okay. So now I invite answers from you. So what is the maximum value of voltage? Okay, it's straightforward, 100 volts. And then what is the maximum value of current? It is 20 amperes. Okay. So why is it like that? Because this V and I are alternating quantity. That's what we mean by AC. Okay. What is AC? Alternating quantity. An alternating quantity mathematically represented by a sine wave. And the alternating quantity is called alternating quantity because sometimes it is plus, sometimes it is minus. Okay. So if I take this and on x-axis, if I put time, okay, so here t equal to 0, and then the time is increasing, and on y-axis if I put the voltage, okay, and then if I draw this, it will be, how will it be? It will be something like this, okay, and then something like up to here. So this is one complete period. So why I am not starting from 0? Because there is a phase of 30 degrees left here. So this one represents 90 degrees from 0 degrees. So this may be, so it will actually starting at minus 30 degrees, and then I think you know this part. Okay. Now if I want to know what is the value of maximum value, that is 100. That is just maximum value of sine is 1, so it is 100. And if I want to know this value, what we should do? So substitute t equal to 0, then sine 30 some value will come. What is sine 30? 0.5. So this will be 50. Okay. So my drawing is not that correct. So okay, you know that, so I'll move forward. What is the significance of this term omega here? What is the significance of omega? Okay, so what he has told is 1 by omega is the length of this, all these things. So strictly speaking, we'll say omega is nothing but 2 into pi into f. Okay. Now, what is the x-axis here? The x-axis is time. Okay. But here, the unit of this one, the unit of t is seconds, time, whereas the unit of omega should be something so that this whole thing becomes an angle, so that sine can apply to that angle, okay. So that way. So omega will be radians per second, okay. So omega will be radians per second, or you can also say degrees per second, okay. So, so when it multiplies by t, the seconds will get cancelled and degrees will remain. Okay. So now what is f? The f is actually the what frequency which is actually determining the time period. Okay. So again it's a review only. So if you are I can also write it 2 pi by capital T. Okay. If capital T is the time period, I want time period of 2 seconds or something like that, then your capital T will be 2, and then when it multiplies with the small t in this omega, this one, that's in this omega t, then that when this t and this t are equal, that means one cycle is completed, then 2 pi radians is completed, that means it is one cycle. So, and again the value repeats. So anyway, this is just a detail, so we will not go much into that detail now. Now the radians, should you use, see this one is in radians and this one is in degrees. So strictly speaking, this is not the proper way of writing it. Always only radians you follow or only degrees you follow. You cannot follow two different ways, but then since in power system representations, usually they do like this, you know, it's understood. So you don't have to get confused there. So if it is in radians, then it will be written, you know, pi by 2 or pi by 6 or something like that. Then you know that okay, it is radians. Okay. So don't get confused with that. Okay, that was about Vmax and Imax. So what is the next part of the question? If I look at the question, it says Vrms and Irms. Okay, so what is the value of Vrms? So what you do is Vmax divided by root 2. Okay, now what is RMS? Root means square value. Okay, so it's a mathematical derivation. You might have done it in a different course, but then for now, for this power system practice course, what is the interpretation of this? So 100 divided by root 2. How much is that? It will be 70.7 volts. Okay, so what is the significance of this number 70.7 volts? So because this value is keep on changing. So if I ask you what is the value of voltage, it's keep on changing. It's not one value. Okay, but if I want to give some value, what value will you give? You'll say I will do average value. But the problem is if you do average, plus minus will cancel out and then it will become 0. All average values for an AC quantity will be 0 only. So average value cannot be used. Then what value can be used? So what we do is first we square it. S. The square means the plus will become plus into plus and minus into minus. Again, both will become positive. Okay. So then we do the mean. Okay. Then we calculate the average of that square. Okay. So then, but then because you squared it before, then you take the square root. Okay. So root, mean, square. So in the reverse order, first you square it, minus will become plus, then you take the mean and then do the RMS, square root again. It turns out that for a sine wave, if you do the RMS sine wave derivation, it turns out that root 2 is division is the one. So that's why we are doing that shortcut. What is IRMS? Same logic. So take 20 amperes divided by root 2. How much it will be? 14.14 amperes. Okay, so this is about that part. What is the next part of the question? Okay, so here we are written V and I in polar form. Okay, now whenever you are dealing with alternating quantities, because most of the power system is run as an alternating system, AC voltages, AC currents all the time flowing, there are different ways of representing. See, this one is not a convenient way of representing a voltage. Every time I cannot write 100, sine, omega t, all these things. So how to represent this? More convenient way. So, yeah. What? R into e power j theta. Okay, that is one way. So let me write it. So 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 this is equation form. Okay, and this one is called polar form. So simply you will write 70.7 30 degrees. That's all. This is some kind of a shortcut way of writing it. Okay. So it's only a shortcut way of writing it. So nothing more to feel about it. It's just a magnitude and an angle. So if I give you this, you can always write this one. Simply multiply this by root 2. You will get the maximum value, and then take the 30 degrees angle and substitute it here. Omega t is anyway there. Okay. How do you write this? It is 14.4 10 degrees. Okay. Okay, this 30 degrees and 10 degrees is with respect to some reference. Okay. Yeah. So the question she asked is, when you convert polar back to equation form, will it be sine or cos? Oh, by the way, there is a cos here. So this is not correct. Okay, this is wrong. I forgot to see the sign here. So when you go from polar form to equation form, anything we could have used, but because most of the textbooks, most of the people started using sine, they said let's use sine as a convention. So all the time we will use sine. Okay. So how do you adjust this now? So what we will use the one thing that is like cos theta is equal to, so I'll write it sine 90 plus theta. Some people will agree, some people will not. Is there any other combination? Can I write sine 90 minus theta? Is this correct? Cos theta is sine 90 minus theta. See, okay, now I'll, so statement A and statement B, okay, true or false? Which one, A is true or B is true, or both are true or both are false, or what it is? Cos theta is sine 90 minus theta is true. Cos theta is sine 90 plus theta is also true. Both are true. Does it depend on the sign of theta? Or does it not depend on the sign of theta? Okay, so for our polar form to equation form, we will use A. Okay, B we will not use it, because everybody has to follow the same convention so that there won't be any confusion. So wherever you see cos, replace it with sine and put 90. Okay. I'll also explain the reason for that, but just for the completing this, we'll do that. So what I'll do right now is, I'll write it here, 20 sine omega t plus, see 90 plus 10, so 10 degrees plus 90 degrees, so it will be 100 degrees. Okay, just increase by 90 degrees, and therefore here it will be 14.14 100 degrees. Okay. Why should we do like that? Is something to do with phasor representation. So what you do is, these quantities, alternating quantities, AC quantities, instead of writing it like equations or writing in polar form, you can also draw a diagram and then show that in the diagram. Okay. So diagram form of representation is called phasor representation, where you take the x-axis and y-axis. So x-axis is considered 0 degrees, y-axis is considered 90 degrees, this is 180 degrees and 270 degrees. Okay. Now this is the length, 70.7 the length, and 30 is the direction or angle. Okay, so you can write like this. This length is 70.7 and this angle is 30 degrees. Okay, so this is a representation of the V. Okay, so I can write it. V is like this. Okay. So you can represent the I in this one 14.14. So if this is 70, 14 will be somewhat smaller, but then because this is voltage and that is current, I can use different scales for amperes, different scale for voltage. So it's okay. You can write it in this case. So somewhere like this. So this is I. This is 14.14, and this angle is 110 degrees. Okay. Sorry, 100 degrees. Okay. Now, why is this correct, or why this one we are choosing and why this one we are not choosing? Okay. The reason is that you can have some kind of a mental picture that this whole phasors, they are all rotating. Okay. So they are rotating like this, omega t. So omega is radians per second and t is the second. So if I multiply these two, it is like how much angle it has rotated. Okay. So this is rotating, this is also rotating at omega t. All are rotating at the same angle. So then what happens to the V value? If I look at only the vertical height, okay, so if I look at only the vertical height, the V value will keep on increasing, and when this becomes 90 degrees, V value will reach the maximum. Okay. So V is increasing, V value is increasing and then reaches maximum, whereas the I value already reached maximum, now it is reducing. Okay. The height of this, if I take this one, so this will increase and this will decrease. Okay. So now if I go back here, the same thing happens. Okay. If T is positive, T is increasing, then V is also increasing. After some time, it will reach 90 degrees maximum, then only it start decreasing. Okay. Here also, look at the cos only. Okay. If T is increasing, so what is at T equal to 0, cos 10 degrees. Okay. Cos 10 degrees, some value is there. Okay. And if I start increasing T, whatever cos 10 degrees is there, it will reduce actually. So if the theta is increasing, cos theta is reducing. Okay. So that's why if I use this A notation, it is matching with our assumption that these vectors are all rotating. Okay. So beyond that, I don't want to extend the discussion. So this is how. When you see cos, you can replace with sine and add 90 degrees. That's the convention we follow. What is the other form of representation? The other form of representation, this is phasor representation. The other form of representation, rectangular. Okay, so in rectangular what you do is, take this V, what is the x component and what is the y component. Okay, x component will be 70.07 into cos 30. Okay. 70.7 cos 30. So because if you take this triangle, this is the adjacent side, so adjacent side cos. Okay. This is the x component and the y component will be, this is x and y, 70.7 into sin 30. Okay. So this one is the y component. In this triangle, sin is the opposite side, so it will be 7.7 sin 30. Okay. Now these two, if I put plus, what happens? It will be again confusing because you are not adding directly. So I want to say that this is in one direction, this is in the other direction. Okay. So this direction, 90 degrees direction, also denoted as I direction, imaginary direction. Okay. So just multiply with I. Okay. So when you multiply any number with I, it will get aligned with the imaginary direction. Okay. So something like that. So because of this I, now I can tell that this is x component and this is y component, and I can put the plus in between. Okay. Otherwise I have to write it separately, x component comma y component, something like that. Anyway, so this I is here. Okay. So if I take 70.07 common, so it is cos 30 degrees plus I into sine 30 degrees. Okay. So he was telling the same thing. So this one cos theta plus I sine theta, short form of notation is e to the power of I theta, I into 30 degrees. Okay. So this is another form of exponent form of representation, magnitude and e to the power of I into 30. This e to the power of I into 30 nothing but this one. It's again a trigonometry or mathematical representation. So again we will not worry too much about that part. But in any case, this is the rectangular way of representing. How do you represent this one? So it is, you can write it I equal to, this is V equal to 14.14 E I into 100 or 100 I. So you can do like this, 100 degrees into I or something like that. So all the time make sure that you don't confuse between degrees representation and radians representation. If it is in radians, treat it as radians and so on. Okay, I think this is what was the first question. Last. Okay, the last point is the system capacitive or inductive. Okay. So capacitive. So I'll just put the question in a different way. So there is an ammeter. This ammeter is measuring the current. Okay, and it is connected such that the current direction it will measure is that way. So that means if the current is that way, it shows as positive. And there is a voltmeter which measures the voltage. And then there is some kind of a electrical equipment, some electrical device or something like that, equipment. So essentially what I am doing is I am seeing how much current is going into that and how much voltage it is there. Okay. And my values are this one, V and I. Okay. So this V is measured here and this I is measured here. Now the question is this electrical equipment capacitive or inductive? So somebody answered capacitive sometime before. Why? Yeah. So if you look at this diagram, the current is leading and the voltage is lagging. Therefore, it is capacitive. Okay. So how do you know this is leading and this is lagging? Because this is the direction of the rotation. And let's say you are standing here. If you are standing here, first I will come. Like if you look down to the diagram, first I is coming and then after some time V is coming, therefore I is leading V. So that way. So if I is leading, it is capacitive, and if I is lagging, V, we are talking about I with reference to V. Okay. So somebody can say, oh, but V is lagging I, therefore it is inductive. So the reference is what is the current with respect to voltage. Okay. So I think with that we will go to the second question. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the question she's asking is, what if I use cos 90 minus theta? Like then it will be what? Minus 80 degree, or 90 minus theta or minus 90? See, 90 will still be positive, right? So instead of 90 plus 10, it will be 90 minus 10, it will be plus 80. Okay. But it will still be leading, but then it is still wrong actually. So can someone answer why it is wrong? See, why can't I use? Oh, okay, okay. So now we'll do something wrong. So good that question was asked. So 20, instead of this, if I write it plus, no, what should I write it? Yeah. So 90 minus omega t minus 10. Then what happens next? Here it should be sine. So this will be 80 minus omega t. So, but then because I want t to be positive, because this term will be positive or something, so if you want to reverse it again, you will go back to the same thing, something like that. Let's go to the second question. I'll write it here. So I hope by instead of telling you theory, by giving a question and then solving the question, you are trying to get the concept in that. Okay. Okay, the second question. VA, VB is given. What is VA? So right away I am using polar form. 130 degrees, and then this is 90 minus 20 degrees. So find VBA and then find VAB. Okay. So how I would like you to interpret this is that so consider there is a mountain, okay, there is some kind of a mountain, okay, and on that mountain this one is the sea, okay, and this sea level is zero height, 0 meters or something, okay. So now at different points you will have different, like this point, let us call it, let's call this point D, and let's call this point K, let's call this point Q, something like this. Let's call this point S, okay. So height of D, height of K, height of Q, height of S, okay. So let's HD, height of point D, HK, height of point K, like that. So when I write these numbers, all the time I am measuring with respect to sea level, okay. So that is like this. I am just only introducing notation, okay. So what is the height difference between D and Q? So I will say H, D, Q, okay. So I am asking with reference to D, what is the height of Q? Okay. So then you will say HQ minus HD. So with reference to D, what is the height of Q? So it will be HQ minus HD, okay, like that. So what is HQD? It will be HD minus HQ. With reference to Q, what is the height of H? Sorry, D. So this will be like this. Am I correct? Is it reverse? See, VAB. It's correct only, na? Is it reverse? Okay. Anyway, what is it then? HD minus HQ. So will this be? So yeah, what is the height of D with respect to height of Q? Okay, then it is, yeah. So HQ minus HD. Okay. Now the problem is, this all is very nice, you know, because we are talking about height, okay, and it's only a scalar quantity. So now in the voltage, voltage is not a real number, it's a complex number, imaginary, all this, because this 10-30 degrees you can convert into rectangular form, it is a complex number. So but still you can do this kind of subtraction where it will be a complex numbers subtraction, that's all. Okay. So I hope this picture helps you remember what is the meaning of VBA. Okay, so don't confuse like how I confused. So VBA is what? I don't think so. Voltage of D. See, this is voltage of B with reference to A, that is VBA. Yeah. So in that case, what you have to do? Yeah. So let's do that. VB minus VA. So these are polar numbers. Polar numbers are convenient for multiplication and division. Polar form suitable for, this is polar, suitable for multiplication and division, whereas rectangular form is suitable for addition and subtraction. Okay. So if you want to do addition subtraction, you will have to convert to rectangular form, then do addition subtraction whatever, then and all that. Okay. However, I think some of the calculators that you have, you can right away type 100 angle 30 minus 90 angle minus 20, then it directly shows the answer. That's the greatness of the calculator, not your understanding or one. But anyway, you can use it. I'm not against calculator. In fact, I'm mostly dependent on that. So let's do this now. Convert to polar form. What is this? Is it 50 plus I? By the way, instead of I, I'll make it J. Okay. So I is for mathematicians and J is for electrical engineers. So nothing else. It's a value is same. Okay. Both are still imaginary. So what is the 86.6? Reverse. First cos will come, no? Yeah. 86.6 and then 50. So I was taking sine first. Now what about this one? There is a minus here. Minus, so you should be careful. What is this? So what is 90 cos 20? What is 90 cos 20? So 84.5. And then this will be J. So what is, now here it should be plus or minus? So it will be minus because sine of negative is minus. So what is 90 sine 20? 90 sine 20, 80.6. It will be lesser, near to 0. 30.8, yeah. So 30.8. Now for calculating VBA, so VBA equal to VB minus VA. Okay. So 84 minus 86, 84.5. So let's round it to 84.6. Okay. Normally don't do that in assignments, but here just because it's a class. So this is minus 2. This is minus J 80.8. Okay. So this is voltage of B with respect to voltage of A. Okay. What about VAB? So I'll just reverse the sign so you can, or I can say 86 minus 84, it will be 2, and then 50 minus of minus 30, so it will be plus. Okay. So this is VAB, this is VA minus VB. Okay. So however, these two in rectangular form are not that intuitive, and you're not able to clearly get the picture about what exactly is the magnitude. Okay. So you convert back into polar form, what you will get? So this one convert to polar form, this one convert to polar form. So how do you convert a rectangular to polar? It's a very fundamental, and you are going to do this probably hundreds of times if you are in power. So convert this to polar. So what is the magnitude? 80.8. Both are negative. Is it somewhere close to 270 degrees? How much is this? 88.5. I'll draw the phasor diagram here. So what I'll do is, maybe I'll use the full space. Okay. 130. Okay. So this is my origin point. This is VA. Okay. Length is 100 and the angle is 30 degrees. Where is VB? So I'll use this is VB. Is that so? Oh, sorry, minus 20. This is VB. So this is 20 degrees and this is 90. Okay. So what is VB minus VA, VBA? So VA is minus sign. So what you do? Just take the reverse of this. So exact length you copy in the opposite direction. So this one is minus VA. Okay. So VB plus minus VA. So these two addition. Okay. When you do addition of these two, it will be like a parallelogram addition. So it will come something like this. So what will be the length of this? That will be, somebody told 80.8. Okay. So I'll assume that. That's why I was telling the angle will be near to 270 degrees. Okay, 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. This is VBA. Okay, what is VAB? It is VA plus minus VB. Okay, so this is VB. The minus VB will be somewhere exactly opposite to that. So I'll write it here. So something like this. This is minus VB. So VA plus minus VB, then it will be somewhat like this. So how much we got angle? Even that we did not calculate. The length will be same. These two again will be opposite each other. This will be VAB, 80.8 or 88. Is this 88 or angle is how much? So this is 268 and this is 88 degrees. Okay, because of the 2. Okay, is there anything more on this? Because we want to cover more problems. Okay, I think everything we have done in second question. Okay, I hope you are following. These are all things that you already done before. So instead of spending one full semester, we are just revising it in one class. Okay. Third one. So third one is slightly general, more general. Okay, so this is an electrical load, 10 kilowatt, 0.6 lag. So draw power triangle. So again, this is the current taken and this is the voltage we are measuring. So this is plus minus, this is the direction of the current. So what is this power triangle? Have you heard about it before? What is power triangle? So what you do is, so you have Ohm's law, which is V equal to IR. Okay. So this is V equal to IR for DC circuits. Okay. When you come to AC circuits, what you do? We replace this resistance with impedance. Okay. So V is complex number, I is complex number, Z is also complex number. Okay. That's what the changing from DC circuit to AC circuit. Now V is complex, I is complex, and Z is complex. You look at this Z. What is Z? Impedance. Impedance is nothing but R plus Jx. Okay. So if I take the real and imaginary component of the impedance, real part we are calling it resistance, and the imaginary part we are calling it reactance. Okay. Now the question is it capacitive reactance or inductive reactance? Depends on the sign. If it is positive, then it is inductive reactance. If the Z is negative, then it is capacitive reactance. Okay. You can also represent this in the form of polar form. So it will be Z and angle some theta. Okay. So whatever the theta is there, that if the theta is positive, then capacitance. If the theta is inductance. If the theta is negative, then it is capacitance. Okay. Now this is mathematical way of writing it. Instead of mathematical way of writing Z equal to R plus Jx, I can draw a triangle. Okay, it's just like this. So maybe I'll start here. This is the triangle. R, X and Z. Simple. So the length of R will be equal to this value of this one. Length of X will be equal to the value of this, and then so R square plus X square under root will be the value of amount of Z. Okay. This angle will be theta automatically. So instead of writing like this, I'll write it like this just to get a visual feel of it. Okay. Now multiply I on all sides. Okay. So if you multiply with I, so I'll just, this is impedance triangle. So by the way, what is the relation here? By drawing this triangle, you are introducing new rules also. You can write R equal to Z cos theta. Okay. Z into cos theta is R. Well, just cos theta is hypotenuse by adjacent. So you can also write X equal to Z into sin theta. So if cos theta is given, Z is given, you can calculate R. If the R and Z are given, you can calculate cos theta. The R and cos theta are given, you can calculate Z and so on. Okay? Just for easy. And by the way, how do you get theta? Tan inverse X by R, or you can say cos inverse R by Z. So you can do all these things. That's why the advantage of drawing this triangle. Okay? You can get all these things. We'll use because the question is given. So this is impedance triangle. Multiply I and multiply I. Okay. So what is R into I? The voltage drop across the resistance, which you can denote as VR. Okay. So this is VR. Okay. Sorry. V subscript R. Voltage drop across the resistance, and X into I is voltage drop across reactance VL. Okay. And then this is Vs, supply voltage. Okay. So if you supply some voltage, there is a voltage drop across resistance and all. This is both are again same. The same theta is comes here also. And all. So now if the problem is given, supply voltage is known and resistance voltage is known, you can calculate the VL. So VL will be Vs square minus VR square under root and so on. Okay. This is called voltage triangle. So again you multiply with I. So what you do, you just multiply I and I. Okay. So voltage across inductance or whatever is the reactive part. Reactive voltage you can call it. Okay. Now VR into I is nothing but power. Okay. V into I is power. Okay. So this is P, this is Q. Okay. Q is nothing but VL into I. P is nothing but VR into I. Okay. And then this one will be S. V into I or Vs into I. Okay. You can also write S equal to P plus JQ. You can also write S equal to P square plus Q square under root and so on. So all these things will come into picture. So this is the power triangle in this case. So what is the question? If you look at question number 3, 10 kilowatt of load is operating. That means which one is 10? P is 10, Q is 10 or S is 10? So kilowatt. So using that sign, kilowatts means, so P is in kilowatts or watts. Okay. This one, what is the unit of the reactive power? VAR, VAR, volt ampere reactive. So that is the unit of, so you can have VAR or kVAR, kilovolt ampere reactive, or MVAR, megavolt ampere reactive and all. This is the unit. So looking at the unit, watts, kilowatts, megawatts, I can tell whether it is active power, reactive power, or what is the unit of this one? Just VA, volt amperes. Significance of S is the apparent power. That means in this case, if I simply multiply I RMS value into V RMS value, it will be I into V is some value. So that is the total volt ampere value. So that is S. Okay, so coming to our problem, this is 10 kilowatt. This one I don't know. This one cos inverse of 0.6. Okay, because power factor is given as 0.6 lagging. What is cos inverse of 0.6? 53.13 I think. Okay, so 53 degrees. Okay. Now if this is 53 degrees, what is this one? Or what is this one? So this will be 16.67 VA. Actually here it is kVA because this is kilowatt, this is kilovolt ampere. Okay. So it is nothing but 10 divided by 0.6. Okay, I think we are using this one. So cos theta, this one going here, so finding out Z. Okay, Z is R by cos theta. Good question. What if 0.6 lead is given in the question? Okay, so in that case, it's the triangle will still be same, but then if you don't want to be confused, you can draw the triangle something like this, where this will be, angle will be minus and so on. You can draw like that. The current is lagging the voltage. It's a inductive load, therefore. Okay. So where were we? So this one I can always calculate 16.67 square minus 10 square. How much is this one? 13.6, 13.33. The unit is VAR. So always be careful with the units. kVA, kW, kVAR. Sorry, kVAR, not VAR. Now is the interesting question. We can use the power triangle to solve this kind of problem. Yes. Which one? Yes, yes. These are all magnitudes. See, you can actually, strictly speaking, it will also have an angle. But then when I say impedance is 20 ohms, that means I am giving only partial information. So then we can ask what part of the 20 ohms is resistive, what part of the 20 ohms is reactive. So like that you can ask. So then I'll say, okay, the power factor is 0.7, 0.8. Then you can always calculate. So sorry, I'll just redraw the figure once again more neatly, because the question is now of power factor correction. Okay, so the question was, what is power factor? Okay, so power factor is anyway cos of that angle. So this angle is angle between voltage and current. But when you do cos, for cos it is cos theta or cos minus theta, both is same. So you can't tell from there. Okay, so you have to additionally tell, okay, cos of theta comma, whether it is lead or lag, you have to specify it separately. So always voltage is reference, and then the question is what is current with respect to voltage. So voltage is always reference because I am giving the voltage and the device is responding by taking some current. Are you taking leading current or are you taking lagging current is the question we are asking. So voltage is reference for the power factor and all. By the way, so now let's get back. So maybe I'll use the proper lengths maybe. So this is 1 kilowatt. So I'll start it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this is 10 kilowatt. This is my power. Okay. So the question we are asking is, this device is taking too much of reactive power also. Okay. So that I will show it here. How much is that? 13.3. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This much. This is Q, 13.33 kVAR. This is 90, and this total is 16.66 kVA. This is my at present my power triangle. Okay, the actual work done is because of only this 10 kilowatt. This 13.33 kVAR does not do any mechanical work. Okay, it's just oscillating in the network. So what I can do is, I can add a device here. Separately, I can add another device. Okay, the device is obviously capacitor. Capacitor just stores and charges and discharges, so it doesn't consume any energy. By just adding a capacitor, I can still supply 10 kilowatt load, but with much less current. Okay. How much is the current now? We can calculate the current also, I think, or yeah, the voltage is not given. Okay, so if you assume some voltage, you can calculate the current and find the reduction in that current or anything. So if you go back to the question, now I want the power factor to be 0.8. Okay, what is the angle for 0.8? Cos inverse 0.8. 36.8. Is that? So this angle is totally 53 degrees. Now 36.8 will be somewhere like this. 36 point. Now, if I can reduce this angle for the same 10 kilowatt, what will be the Q now? How much is that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 point. So see, my angle estimation was also correct. So now Q2, this is Q1, 7.48 kVAR. Okay. So what is this difference? 5.85. So what is happening in the circuit? If I connect a capacitor like this, yeah, so it's reducing the lagging and increasing the power factor and so on. So so I'll draw it in a more simpler way. Supply, load, capacitor. Okay. Now I'll write this is active power. Okay. 10 kilowatt. Okay. Supply is giving to load 10 kilowatt. Okay. And now reactive power. How much is the reactive power? 7.48 kVAR. And how much is this reactive power? 5.85 kVAR, and total reactive power reaching here is 13.33. This plus this. So this is what is happening. Okay. So this part of the wire carries less current magnitude because the only 7.48 kVAR is going and 10 kilowatt is going. According to that, the current will be lesser. In this part, the current will be more. Okay, so the capacitor will be near to the load. So we are reducing, effectively we are reducing the current on the line. So this is better compared to the entire 13.3 coming from supply to load. So if I further increase the capacity, instead of 5.8 kVAR, if I use 10 kVAR capacitor, then out of 13, 10 will come from here, 3.33 will come from the supply. The current will be still lesser, and so on. What is the physical significance? How can a capacitor generate 5 point? Is that what you are asking?
What is this?
So, what is reactive power? So, I have two answers for that. One answer is that there is one 25-minute video on my YouTube channel which is about what is reactive power, and then I'll just give you a quick answer so that you can also see, just for this one, you can also see the that video which I do. So maybe the link of that I'll keep it in the description, like people say. So on the other hand, just to explain, this is V, voltage, and this is I, current. Okay. So in this case, what is power? Power. Power is V into I. Okay, so at every point, V into I, V into I, V into I across time you can do. So plus into plus, plus minus into minus, plus into plus. So you will get power something like this. All positive values of power. Okay. Now that means if you this is source and this is load, and then you are standing here and then observing the direction of power flow. Instant by instant you observe the direction of power flow. You notice that power is 0. Then slowly power increases. Then again power decreases. Touches 0. No power is flowing. Again power keeps flowing, and so on, like that. So then you will say, why the power is not constant? Then you say, oh, because it's a AC circuit, the power is, flowing in different times, different values. Okay. Then you can calculate the average power. Okay. What is the average power? So average power is Vrms into Irms into cos phi, power factor. Okay. What is cos phi here? Because the angle is 0, the cos phi is 1. So there is no reactive. Okay. Now change the angle. Okay. Now what you do? So here entire power is active power. This all is active. So active power I will show you in yellow color. This is active power. This is active power. This is active power. This is also active power. The entire is active power. Now I think you get the picture. So you have this. This is V, and this is I. So I is lagging. That means I will start after some time. Something like this. Okay. Then so I'll draw some vertical lines. Oh, not here. Okay, so in this region, plus and minus. Okay, so voltage is positive, current is negative, so you will get like this. So in this region both are plus. Okay, so you will get something like this up to here. Okay, so in this region current is plus whereas voltage is minus, so you will get like this and so on. Okay, so again here minus into minus, again here like this, here. Okay, so to shade it, maybe I'll just shade it everything yellow for the time being. This one. So this is how the P looks like, P versus time. Okay, so again source is there, load is there, you are standing here noticing the power flow on this line. Okay, during this period you will find that the power flow is positive going from source to load. During this time you will find that the load is giving back some power to the source. Okay, whatever load, some extra power has reached there, coming back. Okay, then again same thing. So that's the AC power. It's not always one direction. The power changes its direction. So is this reversal of direction useful or useless? Notice one thing. On an average, the power direction is left to right. Why? Because if you calculate the area, so power into time is energy. So you calculate the area. The positive area is more, negative area is less. Ultimately, energy is going from source to the load. And that energy which is finally coming here converted into work. Like you have a motor pumping water. So the amount of water that is being pumped, it's nothing but this minus this. That energy is converted to mechanical energy to pumping the water. Therefore, this is useless actually. So we want to avoid that. So how do you avoid that? So by improving the power factor. Okay, the 10 kilowatt remains the same, average power remains the same, the reactive power you can reduce it. Okay. I hope this gives you the idea, somewhat idea. So now coming back to shading, which part is active power, which part is reactive power in this? So can I say this above one is all active and the below one is reactive? So strictly speaking, that is not the case. The problem is, like, you can now split this into two. Okay. So one will be, so I'll write two axes. Okay, one will be the pure sine wave. So here the average is 0. Okay, and the other will be a DC. So this is your active power, and this is your reactive power. Okay, these two addition will be this one. Okay, or if I simply lift the x-axis to like this, okay, then it will be actually this part will be equal to this part. Okay, so like these two will be equal, plus equal to minus will cancel. So how much you are shifting, that much is your active power, and the remaining, how much is the remaining amplitude, reactive power. Can we do all? More 15 minutes. So which one now? Okay. We'll come back to fourth one. Let's directly go to fifth one. Okay. Fourth one we'll just see in the end if we have time. Okay. Fifth one is little bit conceptual. I'll just explain it what it is. So there is a coil and a AC supply. 200 volts, 50 hertz. Now, first of all, let me start by asking 200. Is it RMS or maximum? So it's RMS. Anybody says the AC voltage is 200 volts, that means normally whatever values are given, that is RMS. Now what was the current here? If there is a core, the current is 4 amperes, okay. So what I can do now is, I can calculate impedance, okay. What is the impedance? And how much is power consumed in this circuit? It's also given in the question, 400 watts, okay. Now, just to concentrate here, what is happening in this circuit is, alternating current is flowing, okay. So the flux in this core also keeps on alternating. That means, like if this is a magnet, this is a no electromagnet, north pole, south pole, okay, in one cycle. The other part of the cycle, south pole and north pole, okay. So the magnetism of that core keeps on reversing. So the in each cycle it keeps on changing, okay. So because of that, this core gets heated, okay. That heating is a loss of energy, okay. So what are the losses? That's called iron losses. So what is iron losses? When there is an iron and when the flux is reversing the direction, the iron gets heats up, because internally lot of, at molecular level there are lot of motion going on, that heats up the iron. So that is iron losses, okay. And what is copper losses? So now the wire which is made to wind the winding, that wire will have small resistance, okay. Because of that resistance there is the I square R losses, okay. That is the copper losses, okay. So this 400 watts, so this is 400, because that is the power consumed from this source. 400 watts is split between these two. So how much is what? How do you know? So we can use the information which is given. So what is impedance? Nothing but V by I. Okay. V is radian into I. Okay. Now I am neglecting the angles, okay, only taking the magnitudes. So 200 divided by 4. How much is that? 50 ohms. Okay. So 50 ohms is the total impedance. Okay. There is also one more thing here, that is the inductance of this, okay, that is XL, okay. But then that inductance will not have any losses because it's inductance. Okay. Now what is the next calculation? Yeah. So I square R, okay, is nothing but power. So power is known, 400, and I, 4 amperes, okay, 4 square. Okay. So I can calculate what is R. How much is R? 400 divided by 16. How much? 25. Okay. Now, yes. Power is, see, power is V into I into cos phi. So these both are RMS. RMS, RMS. This is one formula for power. It's not required. So IRMS square into R itself is power. Or I can say IRMS square into Z into cos phi. So this is also power. So we are using the middle one. So R is 25 and this Z. But notice what is this R? This R is not only this one. It covers both iron loss and this one. Both mathematically they are covering in this R. So 25 ohms. Okay. So what is X now? 25 square minus, sorry, 50 square minus 25 square under root. So how much will it be? By the way, we'll just don't calculate that right away. Now what happens if I remove the core? If you remove the core, without the core, the current suddenly increases to 25 amperes and the power also increases to 4000 watts. That was the effect which was seen in the question. Okay. Now these iron losses will not come into picture because there is no iron core inside. Yes. We are not taking peak value. In calculation of impedance. So it will be something like this. V into root 2, I into root 2. So root 2 will get cancelled. So yeah. So either use all RMS or all peak. Where am I? Yeah. So now in the second case, again I will calculate the effective resistance. I square R equal to P. So 4000 equal to R divided by I square, 25 square. So how much is the resistance now? 4000 by 625. 6.4. Okay. Now this 6.4 is actual resistance of the copper. Okay. So the remaining 25, 6.4 if I minus, then that component is actually the loss because of the iron core. Okay. So what is the difference? 25 minus 6.4. So I'll say R effective equal to R iron plus R copper. So this R iron is not a physically there is nothing like that, but mathematically I am introducing that resistance of iron core, but it's not there actually. So this is 25 equal to R iron plus 6.4. So 6.4 if you subtract, it will be how much? 18. 18.6 ohms. Okay. So this resistance is the something which represents the behavior of a iron core. So how much is iron loss and how much is the copper loss? Now I can go back and then calculate that. So for the current 4 amperes, 4 square into 6.4, and this one is 4 square into 18.6. Okay. So these two if you calculate, how much is this one? How much? 102. How much is this? 102 point. Okay. How much is this? 18.6 into 16. 297.6. Okay. This part is the iron losses and this part is the copper losses. If I add these two, you will get 400 again. If I add these two. So that 400 is this earlier 400. So that one. Of course, this is like a little bit of twisted kind of question, so it's okay. So we still have 5 minutes left. I think I'll do 6th question and then with that I'll stop. The other 2 questions you can try it. I square X. Okay. So this is the power of reactance, or you can say Q equal to I square X, or here also I'll write it, Q equal to I square X, I square Z sin theta. You can do all these things. That is only reactive power and the data is also not given. We can calculate it. It is written back to the source. So the reactive power is not accepted by the load but returned back to the source. But the unnecessary journey from source to load and load to source will involve some losses because of the resistance of that wire. So that's why we want to avoid the reactive power. What is the reactive power here? You can calculate that and you can calculate the power factor. Okay, so you can add the question. For the question number 5, I can say find out the power factor with the iron core and find out the power factor without the iron core and all that things. Okay. Okay, let's, in the last 5 minutes, let's look at one more question. That is Sixth question. This one is like my question which I have a lot of interest in, is nothing but two sources. So this is J5 ohms. Okay, this is purely reactive component, and this one is E1 100 0 degrees, E2 90 20 degrees. Now, before you study, this is a AC circuit. Okay, I'll give you a easy DC circuit. So this is 10 volts and this is 9 volts and this is 5 ohms. Okay. Interpret this as such that somebody gave me two batteries. I have taken battery 1, I have taken battery 2. With a small resistance, I connected them. Okay. The question is, which component will be, which battery will run the circuit? Okay, so the 10 volts battery will, so some current will flow. What is the net voltage? 1 volt. And what is the net current? 1 volt divided by 5, 0.2 amperes. Direction of the current will be like this. So because the direction of current is like this, 10 into 0.2, how much is that? V into I, 2 watts. Okay. 2 watts is leaving the first battery. Okay. 0.2 square into 5, how much is that? 0.2 into 0.2 into 5. Okay, so 0.2 watts is lost in the resistance. The remaining power, so 9 into 0.2, how much is that? 1.8 watts. Okay, so 2 watts is starting from here, 0.2 watts is lost, 1.8 watts is, so what does this battery do with this 1.8 watts? It starts charging. So this is discharging, this is charging. So eventually this 10 volts will start reducing, this 9 volt will start increasing. Maybe at 9.5 or something they meet and then everything will be settled. Okay, so that's the one thing. Things are quite different when you come to the AC side. Okay, same problem, now we go for AC. Okay? Because here only active power is there, things are fine. But now we have reactive power issue also. But one good thing is there is no active power loss here. Okay, so so now start working on it, and then tell. I'll draw a table. We need to fill it up. Okay, the table is like this. Component. In words also I have given that. So E1, E2, and then let's call this as X. So I have 1, 2, 3 components. Now active power denoted by P, reactive power denoted by Q. Okay. Now notation is plus is consumed and minus is produced, or we'll reverse it. Negative means the power is consumed and positive means the power is produced. Okay. So we need to fill up this table for this problem. Okay. So I think it's almost 2 minutes. I'll just tell how to do it. So what is the current? So just apply Ohm's law. If I denote this as the I, what is I? E2 minus E1 divided by X. Yeah. So E1 minus E2 divided by X. Okay. Now these three are complex numbers. Okay. So X I can write it as 5 angle 90 degrees because J is 90 degrees. Okay. Now complex number minus complex number divided by another complex number. Finally you will get I as a complex number. Okay. Then you try to do this. Then because since the time is up, we'll try to work on it later. Okay. So one thing you should verify. So you follow this. Minus means consumed, plus means produced. So you add all this, it should come 0. Add all this, it should come 0. Reactive power of each of these components, wherever it is produced, wherever it is consumed, it should all come to 0. So you try to do this. So I'll just give you the clue also. P1, power of E1 is nothing but E1 I1 cos phi 1. Okay, something like that. Okay, you can do like that. Okay. Actually, I'll write S1 is nothing but E1 into I1 conjugate or I conjugate. Okay, S2 is E2 into I conjugate. Okay, this is another this thing. We'll all discuss that later, and other problems also you can see. Okay, so with that I will stop here, and the next class will be. Do we have class on Thursday? Yeah, I think nothing is there. So next class will be on Thursday morning, 8:30.
Sir, actually I have a backlog in some other course, control engineering.
Okay.
And the schedule for both Monday and Thursday classes clashes with this class.
Oh, okay.
So I have asked Ketan sir about
Okay.
it. So he is not willing to mend any rules.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask if something can be done.
So
There
you're
are actually two of us.
this is the first time you're doing
Yeah, this is the first.